Good evening, and welcome back to the Horror, Metal, and Comics channel. I'm your host, Lord Hellhound, and I just got back from the beach, got a little bit of a tan, and I figured I'm going to do a video since it's been a while. And today I'm going to count down my top 10 DC Comics superheroes. Now, growing up, I was always more of a Marvel guy, although I loved Batman. So this list wasn't too hard to compile together. I had to narrow it down to 10. The top 6 were pretty much a no-brainer, pretty much obvious. And these are going to be some very obvious choices, too, by the way. You can probably see it coming from a mile away, but oh well. Now, top 10 Marvel superheroes list. That's going to be hard to do. I'll get it done at some point, but that's going to be a difficult list to narrow down. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Lord Hellhound's top 10 favorite DC superheroes. Alright, so number 10, which I don't have any solo comics, but I do have a lot of Justice League comics featuring this character and other appearances in several other comics. Will be Martian Manhunter, John Jones, that guy right there, the Manhunter from Mars. Pretty awesome character. He can shapeshift, he can fly, he can read minds, he can do all kinds of stuff. Now, whenever somebody dismisses him as just a green Superman, you couldn't be more wrong. He does a lot of things that Superman can't do, and he's a very cool, kind of underrated character, especially now as he's been pretty much replaced by Cyborg in all the current Justice League comics, New 52 and Rebirth and all that. But Martian Manhunter, I think, doesn't get the credit he deserves, because he's one of the most badass characters ever, and I think that's really awesome that there was life on Mars, and he's the only surviving member of his race. It is a lot kind of similar to Superman. His planet wasn't destroyed, but his species was wiped out, and he's the last remaining one, other than Malefic, his arch nemesis, who I think also happens to be his brother. But anyway, let's move on. Number 9, Hawkman. It's another superhero you don't hear too many people talk about, but I always thought he was cool. Hawkman and Hawkgirl as a package deal. Let's say they're both in the number 9 spot, because you hardly ever see one without the other these days. And of course, Hawkgirl was part of the initial lineup in the Justice League cartoon from the early 2000s, which I love. And Hawkman made a few appearances in there. And his origin story has been, it's been changed so many times. He's either a reincarnated Egyptian pharaoh, or he's from another planet, Thanagar. It's been it's been changed around so many times. Sometimes they combine both. Sometimes he's from the planet Thanagar and he's a reincarnated Egyptian. So it's just like, I'm not even going to go into that because I'll be here all day. But the number 9 is Hawkman. Number 8, Green Arrow. Yeah, now some people will think he's kind of boring because he doesn't really have superpowers and he's just rich and really good, really skilled with certain things, like kind of much like Batman. I mean, he can pretty much, his aim is dead on, and that's pretty much his ability. He's very skilled, highly trained. He's like a ninja or an assassin, sort of. But I think he's a great character. I really like it when he teams up with Green Lantern, you know. And of course, I'm a big fan of the Arrow TV show, Stephen Amell. He does a great job. You know, he doesn't really resemble Oliver Queen a whole lot, you know. The blonde hair, and, you know, the facial hair is a little different in the TV series, but it's still a good rendition, and I like Green Arrow a lot. I wish we would have saw more of him in the Justice League cartoon, even though he did show up in like Justice League Unlimited and became part of the group, but I wanted to see more of him because he's awesome. Number 7, Captain Marvel, or should I say Shazam? I guess he's called Shazam now, even though that's the same name as the wizard who gave him his power, and there's also a Marvel character named... You know what, I'm not going to get into that. Shazam is my number 7 choice because he's awesome. He's a boy named Billy Batson, and he, when he says the word Shazam, he becomes a super-powered adult. Very similar to Superman, but he's also got lightning powers and a few other things. I really like the recent movie. I think they did a great job with it, and I think Shazam's a great character, and... now, lately, he's kind of been more... He was a lot more serious when he debuted in the early days. And lately, he's become kind of more of a comic relief character. He's kind of the one who provides the jokes and the, the witty one-liners here and there, which is definitely the case in some of the current DC animated movies. But I think he's really awesome, and I look forward to seeing more. Look forward to getting some more Shazam comics. But he's Captain Marvel. Come on. I understand why they had to change the name, but come on. Number 6, Wonder Woman. Not only is she my favorite DC superheroine, she's my favorite female superhero. She's my favorite heroine out of all comics. You know, I like her the best. Yes, better than Rogue, better than Storm, better than She-Hulk, better than Black Widow. Wonder Woman's my favorite. Favorite female superhero. Princess Diana from Themyscira. Got her lasso of truth and her bulletproof bracelets. Oh yeah. You're a wonder, Wonder Woman. Alright, number 5. We're down to the top 5 already? Down to the, wow, the last 5. Aquaman. Now, this is another character that's very well known, but gets bashed a lot. People seem to really underestimate how awesome of a character Aquaman really is. Now, I've always been obsessed with the ocean and marine life, the sea creatures. They've always fascinated me. And when I was a kid, I did so many reports in school on like sharks and octopi and other marine life, and I've always been obsessed with the ocean. So a superhero who lives in the ocean, you know, the lost city of Atlantis and all that, an Atlantean, has always really fascinated me. I mean, come on, how can you go wrong? He can control marine life. He's super strong. Aquaman really doesn't get the recognition he deserves. People just think of the Super Friends version. They think, oh, Aquaman sucks. No, I couldn't disagree more. They try to make him more manly. They kind of try to make him more of a Conan underwater. Hell, the recent movie even did that, even though I loved it. But he doesn't even really need all that. I think he's still cool on his own. People just think of the Super Friends version and like, oh, he's such a corny, cheesy character. He, you know, they think of like Mermaid Man from SpongeBob. But no, Aquaman is really, really awesome. And Arthur Curry being an ocean-themed superhero, that's just putting two things I love together, and I think you can't go wrong. And you definitely can, because Aquaman is freaking cool, and I don't care what anybody says, because I love Aquaman. Number 4, The Flash, the fastest man alive. Barry Allen, the Barry Allen version. I like Wally West, too, and some of the others, but Barry Allen's my favorite Flash, by far. And he wasn't even the first, you know, but he's the best. Coming from the Silver Age of DC Comics, Barry Allen. An important member of the Justice League. The live-action TV show with Grant Gustin, I think, is really good. I like Ezra Miller, who played him in the Justice League movie, and I look forward to seeing more from him. And I like the Flash a lot better than the Quicksilver, who's basically the Marvel counterpart. Yeah, fastest man alive. Super speed. A lot of people might say he's kind of boring because he just runs fast and that's it. But there's more to it. He can freaking time travel. He can control, you know, magnetic waves and stuff with his vibrations. He can, you know, vibrate really fast and do all kinds of cool stuff. So, you know, it's not just he runs fast. He does everything fast. But let's move on. I won't spend too much time on any of these. Number 3, Green Lantern. He can make anything appear out of nothingness because he has the ring, part of the Green Lantern Corps. Now, technically, he wasn't the first Green Lantern either, but the original Green Lantern wasn't really part of the Green Lantern Corps. It was something entirely different. You know, Alan Scott. That was something entirely different. Much like the Flash, who debuted with Jay Gardner as the original Flash. The original Green Lantern wasn't really anything like the current Green Lanterns. And Hal Jordan is my favorite of the Green Lanterns for sure. But I do like John Stewart and Kyle Rayner and, you know, all the others. But Hal Jordan's always my favorite. The second Green Lantern, the Silver Age Green Lantern, the one I grew up reading, the one I remember the most, the one I have the most nostalgia for. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. I forgot to mention that the Flash has quite a great, aside from Spider-Man and Batman, who are the two superheroes out of any comics that I think have the best rogues gallery, the Flash is definitely number 3 in that category. He has some of the most memorable and awesome villains out of all the superheroes, taking 3rd place only next to Batman and Spider-Man, like I said. And Green Lantern's got some good ones too, of course. You know, Sinestro and and Hector Hammond and Parallax, and you know, he's got some great villains too. Love me some Green Lantern. Hal Jordan mostly. All right, number 2, Superman. I mean, do I even need to say more? I mean, now a lot of people think he's a boring character because he's way too overpowered and he can do pretty much anything. It's like, why do you even need the rest of the Justice League if you have Superman? You know, it's just like he can do pretty much everything they can do plus more. But where it gets interesting was kind of the later comics that kind of had this thing of like he's basically a god. What he chooses to do with his power is, you know, he could destroy. If he was a villain, he could destroy mankind. I mean, he could just burn the whole place to the ground, like Batman says in Batman vs. Superman. But he chooses to be a force of good, and I like how he's like Captain America. He's so honorable and so virtuous. He's all about doing the right thing and protecting people, and he has a moral code. He's not an anti-hero. He's not a badass vigilante. He just wants to do good. He wants to protect mankind. He adopts them as as his own. He was raised here on Earth, and he's, even more human than certain humans. He's so overpowered. Yeah, I mean, God, he can fly. He's got super strength. He's pretty much invincible. He's pretty much bulletproof. He can laser vision, X-ray vision, ice breath. I mean, pretty much almost everything you can think of, pretty much. That's why they invent kryptonite, because it's like, okay, well, how do you, what do you do against somebody like that? And he was pretty much the first superhero as well. And man, for the first superhero, they sure gave him all the powers, I do agree with some people say that can kind of make it less interesting. He's a little too flawless. But I think that can kind of be something interesting as well when they say, when they go about it, like, what is he going to do with his powers? What's he going to, which side is he going to be pledge his allegiance to? That's what kind of makes it interesting. I don't really like the stories in an alternate universe where Superman's evil or a villain, though. But I do like when there's kind of like an internal struggle. There's kind of a conflict, when he says, is this race even worth saving? I kind of like that a little bit. But yeah. There's not really much more news to be said. He's Superman. You know who Superman is. Everybody knows who Superman is. I don't think I need to go on too much detail about that. All right, I guess some honorable mentions. I love Nightwing. Nightwing's freaking awesome. Pretty much every character in the Batverse, really. But Nightwing's my second favorite character next to Batman himself. And, of course, Cyborg and the rest of the Teen Titans. And the list goes on. There's a lot of great DC superheroes. But, Firestorm and a few others. But I'm probably forgetting some really important ones. But let's go and move on to the number one choice. I think you already know what's coming. Was there ever any doubt? Booster Gold. My number one favorite DC superhero. Booster Gold. Booster freaking Gold. Not. Just kidding. Come on. We know what my number one choice is. You're probably thinking, hurry up. I know your number one choice is Batman. If that's what you're thinking, you'd be correct. Yes, my number one choice is Batman. I don't need to go into any detail whatsoever. He's freaking Batman. That's all I need to say. I do not need to go into any detail. He doesn't have any superpowers, but he's always constantly saving the asses of his fellow Justice League members. He's pretty much trained his body to physical perfection. He's multilingual. He's learned every language in the book, pretty much. He's skilled in martial arts, and he's got all the gadgets. He feels like he's always one step ahead of other superheroes and all his supervillains as well. And yeah, he has the best rogues gallery. He has the best villains of any comic book character ever, period. If you don't agree, you're wrong. No, just kidding. But seriously though, you're wrong if you don't agree that he has all the best villains. Yeah, he's freaking Batman. I really don't need to go on. I know it's such an obvious choice, and it's kind of become very trendy today to worship and idolize Batman, but I don't care because I always have and always will. Freaking long live Batman. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. I hope you enjoyed my top 10 favorite DC superheroes. Eventually I get to the Marvel ones, but as I said, that's going to be a very difficult list. Oh man, it's going to be really hard to narrow it down to a top 10 because I feel like there's a lot more Marvel characters than there are DC. Yeah, DC was kind of easy to narrow down to 10, but Marvel, oh man, it's going on. You got all the X-Men. The top 10 X-Men characters alone would be a difficult list. Then we got, so many. Like, it might have to be a top 20 or 25, maybe even 30. Yeah, the Marvel Heroes video is going to be a really tough one, but I'll get to it eventually. All right, guys, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching the Horror, Metal, and Comics channel. Until next time.